Welcome to what it is for many students the first podcast lecture series that they will have in a year. This is where I talk about the system that I used to teach. I call it the Mastery and Flipped Classroom Design. And if you are a teacher watching this, they'll provide you also an opportunity to understand how I run my class and maybe learn a couple things that you can incorporate into your own design and system. And if you're a student, it's very important that you watch this lecture series because it will help you prepare to what you have to do to deal with the class. So I hope that you are ready to take a look at the class policy and procedures document that you see on the screen. We're going to use this document as a reference as I talk about it, because in this document you pretty much have a description of everything that we're going to be talking about. So we're pretty much going to be reading through it together, and we're going to be doing an overview about the way that I run the class. Now, it's very important that if you have any questions, that you address those questions, and that you bring those questions to class as your first assignment so that you can understand how it actually works. Now, on a separate video lecture series that you can watch if you're interested, I talk about the merits of the flipped classroom design and the master design, or why I actually choose to teach this way. It's a very innovative and different way of doing it, and a lot of people are migrating towards something like this in some of the best schools around the country and the world, because it allows students to have a more valid classroom experience, which enhances things like critical thinking, active learning, cooperative learning. It adds more time to practice and less time to actually teacher-centered instruction. And you take that instruction away from the classroom and deliver the content at home with things like podcasts like this or interactive learning experiences and other things like that. And that becomes their homework. And that's why it's called flipped classroom, because they learn the content at home and they use the content in class. I teach a science class usually, and that's basically what I do. I usually teach the content at home, and then the students come to class to practice the content, to use science instead of just learn about it or hear me talking about it. And so it becomes a more engaging class, and also allows a lot of freedom of choice for the students, which empowers them and motivates them. And then within the mastery system, you basically allow the student to move on only if they have already mastered the topics that they have in front of them, which allows them to be better at the topics that are going next. It gives them scaffolding, because a lot of things in science build upon each other. So if the student just moves on and doesn't really learn the topics that come before, it usually handicaps them for what comes later. So the greatest thing about the mastery system is that it allows this to happen. It also makes sure that the student is truly learning. There are some drawbacks, of course, but this is a system that I chose to use because of these inherent advantages. So I encourage you to take a look at this class policy procedures document that's available on my website, and there are also links in the description if you're watching this on YouTube. And make sure that you also try to understand a little bit about what it's all about before you can actually continue to the lecture series, where we're going to be talking about how the design is actually incorporated and how we actually use it. I hope you have a good time, and if this is the first video watching me, I hope you have a great year together.